And we're back live at the Wells Fargo Center. Steve's Food Hall. Brian Smith, Jason Martinez, final post-game show of the year. The Flyers wrap up the 2021-22 season, and it's a loss against the Ottawa Senators here tonight. What'd you think, Brian?
I thought it was a remarkably competitive game for a game 82 that neither team had any stake in.
I agree.
This could have been another game like the Winnipeg game the other night, which was a very sleepy game. The Flyers, you could tell, really didn't want to be in Winnipeg, and the Jets weren't much better. But I thought it was I guess you could call it a well-played game. It was just a competitive, well-competed game. And again, if not for a flub on that puck that Ivan Provorov was chasing, Flyers may have had a better fate. But again. I think the just going out with at least some fight, is what you wanted to see this team do tonight. You didn't want to see them have 1 foot in the postseason for 3 hours, and that didn't happen. So it was a good, obviously not the best result. There's a silver lining attached to it, but it was a good last 2 weeks of the season for this team, just in terms of the personnel and some of the young guys showed us, and just in terms of planning ahead for next year.
Well, let's talk about that silver linings. I want to mention this in the post-game show. Dan Silver, who covers the Flyers and does a lot of writing and stuff on blog as well, he tweeted out that Flyers, I guess this is when they tied it, when Tippett got the goal, tied it too. He said the Flyers are going to blow their draft position tonight by one spot to cap off this bleeping awesome season. And he said, honestly, this franchise does bleep like this all the time, and it's GD annoying. So I had to tweet back, and even though I broke my own policy, Twitter for promotional purposes only, and I said, so you'd rather them go out and not compete and throw a game? Because that's not going to happen. And his response was, professional athletes aren't ever going to quote throw a game unless they bet on it. He goes, but as fans, we're allowed to be frustrated by a franchise we care about that can't ever do anything right, including dropping a draft position in a totally meaningless final day of the season. So that tells me that, you'd rather them go out there. So what he's saying is they didn't do the right thing, and they basically almost cost themselves a draft position if they would have won. So you should have cut that off at the pass and told them not to go out and compete.
Right.
And that, to me, and I've been on podcasts with Dan before, and he does a good job and he knows his stuff, I couldn't disagree with him more. You ask a player to not go out and compete so you can get a higher draft pick, you've just put an infection in your franchise that will take years to get out of the carpet.
Absolutely. And
no way do you do that.
And I would submit that regardless of whether the Flyers won or lost this game because of it, Owen Tippett scoring a goal tonight is a lot more beneficial for this franchise moving forward than whether they pick fifth or sixth.
Yeah, this is a lottery league.
Yeah.
Okay, so the difference in the lottery odds based on that is that literally from being the fourth team where they are right now and they didn't win, they could still end up third. It is literally fractions of percentage. Sure. Let me bring up the thing here. Hold on a second. I had it earlier. Lottery. Okay. Lottery odds. So the lottery odds, the Flyers right now are fourth with the fourth highest odds to land the number one overall pick. And that is at 9.5%. If you're third, it's 11.5%. 2 percentage points difference. Yeah, it's more. I get it, but you really want to go out there and tell Noah Cates and Ronnie Attard and Morgan Frost and Bobby Brink and Owen Tippett and all these other players out there to go out and not compete in a game? Like, how can you?
No,
sorry, Danny. I think that line of thinking is asinine.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, again, you're not guaranteeing anything by moving into that slot one way or the other,
No,
right?
you're getting 2 percentage points higher.
You're not guaranteeing getting the first pick, number one, and number two, you're not guaranteeing getting yourself a pick where you end up getting the best player, because we've seen we've seen drafts where that best player ends up being fourth.
Like, I get being frustrated. I do.
Yeah,
As a fan,
absolutely.
I'm frustrated. We're all frustrated how the season went. But to tell a team to go out there and purposely lose a game or not compete, they done that, I'd be like, I don't think I can work here anymore. Seriously, like I just so fundamentally disagree with that. That, I mean, now you're totally messing with the sanctity of sport. Telling the team to not go out and compete so you can get a better draft pick. Players don't care about that.
Right. And again, unfortunately, I understand the need for parity and all that. But in recent history, there's been teams rewarded for losing. When you look at Pittsburgh, when you look at Washington, when you look at some of the other clubs. Now, granted, on the other side of the fence, there's Edmonton, which lost and still never figured it out.
Yeah,
and maybe they still haven't figured it out. I don't know. But yeah, you just can't. You can't approach it that way. It's not worth the after effects that can fall out from it in the long run.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just so fundamentally disagree with that stance.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong. I don't know, but I just don't feel like that would ever be the right thing to do.
But again, now Owen Tippett has literally
that goal
5 months of feeling a little bit better about himself than he would had he not scored tonight.
Well, it was a scary moment with Owen Tippett too. When he went into that net weird. It seemed like he hit first like his hip and then just above his knee. And I'm going, oh my god. Well, because he was moving too.
The initial impact with the goalpost appeared to be right above the hip bone, in that little soft spot. I'm sure that doesn't feel good.
Oh, no doubt.
Absolutely. And that was the first thing that runs through everybody's mind is, good Lord, this meaningless game. Somebody's got an injury that's going to set it back 2 months or something like that.
It's exactly what I said to Anthony St. Football. I go, if he's hurt and he's like really hurt, people are going to go, why was he even in the game? And then we got to do it.
I mean, I thought the same thing in the last minute when Joel Farabee was sprinting up the ice.
Yeah.
After the empty netter went in. It's like, just don't get hurt. Just get through another 60 seconds here and don't get hurt.
Yeah.
So,
that part is what it is. Yeah. Let's take a break here on the post-game show. Flyers go down against Ottawa 4-2. 82 games are in the books. And now it is officially the NHL offseason for the Philadelphia Flyers. We're back after this on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. guy arguing with me about
Sean
Couturier versus Barzell and how Barzell's such a great offensive player. He's got great offensive skills. The most goals he's ever scored is 22. Let's not act like he's Timu Solani and he scored 61 in his rookie season.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, he had 70.
Yeah.
What has Barzell done? They're not making the playoffs, Holmes.
Game 82.
Okay, they did get to a conference final. You're right.
It took the whole season for this to happen.
Oh, my God.
You've been sitting up here all year.
Go get your Barzell fanboy jersey, and when he scores 30 goals, come talk to me. Till then, you're wearing an Ottawa jersey. Oh, his girlfriend had pulled him out of the fire. That's okay. We were just having a little conversation.
And I guess to finish off the point, the thing that never comes up is how quickly the wheels fall off this team when Sean Couturier is not in the lineup.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't quantify that.
I mean, look, Barzell in 17-18, basically his first full year, had 22 goals. Since then, he's had 18 in an 82-game season. He had 19 in the 68 games played in the shortened season. He had 17 last year in 55 games and 15 this year. So let's not act like, this is a guy that's going to be putting up 50 goals a season. Like, if you're going to dig in on an argument, at least have a guy that has scored more than 22 goals in a full season.
I'm just glad after the 41 games, somebody finally noticed we were up here.
And the other thing, and he's wearing a Jason Spezza Ottawa Senators jersey. Like, what is going on? Somebody, please, get me a drink.
I guess I should bring this up just to make sure we touch on
Matthew Barzell?
No.
But his team went further than Couturier's team.
We have not seen anything official. There's been nothing said. But it sure looked like Keith Handel just played his last game.
Yeah.
You saw the if you were still here, you saw the ending there after the final horn. He picked up the puck, which happened to be at his feet. He picked it up and went over to the Ottawa bench. He got handshakes from the entire Ottawa bench and the entire Flyers bench. And, of course, Kevin Hayes capped it off. I can't say enough about Keith Handel as a person.
Yeah, he's a great
He's
guy.
one of the most fantastic human beings in the game. I wish he'd been here for 10 years. And I wish that we'd gotten to see him at his full ability as opposed to what we saw this year. But, I'm glad we got to at least have his personality and have him as a person around this team for this past year. Not just for all of our benefit, but for that of Kevin Hayes and the rest of his teammates. So, if it is indeed what it looked like, you can't congratulate him enough on you could give him at least a thought about Hall of Fame consideration with that streak that he's put together. Just regardless of that, a fantastic career all around.
Yeah, 1,108 games, 989 straight, going all the way back, 2009?
Yeah, March of 2009.
Yep. 103 goals, 516 assists, 619 points. And his power play numbers are off the charts. I mean, he has 254 power play points.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, in his heyday, when he was on that Rangers team that went to the Cup final, I mean, he was one of the most dangerous guys out there. In the right situations with the right group. And unfortunately, that wasn't really the case this year for the group itself. It's been a privilege to have been around him for the last 9-10 months.
Yeah, 59 points was his career high back in 2010-11 with Phoenix. Yeah, great career. Oh, no, sorry, he had 62 in Florida in 2018-19. That's crazy. That's more points than Matthew Barzell. No.
And it all comes back around.
All comes full circle. That guy's girl had to pull him out of the fire. You believe that?
She came
in and grabbed him by the scruff of his collar like he was a mutt chewing on a pair of socks. Like, come on. You're losing this argument. I got to get you out of there.
Wow. That was not the ending I was expecting to our season of post-game shows.
No.
I can get I
would have preferred she pulled that Jason Spezia jersey over his head and started throwing haymakers at him. That would have been great.
Wasn't that in a movie?
Yeah. That would have been sick. She just drops the mitts with him. All right, so let me give you the critical dates here that we're going to keep an eye on.
All right.
Breakup day is going to be tomorrow. Chuck Fletcher is going to speak either, I think, Monday or Tuesday. And then the last day the cup can be handed out is coming up on June 30th. NHL entry draft, round 1 on the 7th, rounds 2 through 7 on July 8th, and then the UFA-RFA signing period on July 13th. In between now and likely those dates, we'll find out who the next head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers is going to be. We'll see what other kind of changes come throughout the organization. And it's going to be a very intriguing offseason.
Yeah, absolutely.
To say the least.
It's going to really be one of those years where, and again, the Flyers are coming off a season where they basically changed their roster, the most drastic changes they've had since 2012. And again, for various reasons, it did not work out. There's still some questions, I think, to be answered. What role can Ryan Ellis play? What's his deal? I assume that might be, we might have some light shed on that in the next week, but we don't know exactly what his situation is right now, and what the Flyers are thinking as far as his availability for next year. We'll see where they're going to go as far as obviously free agency. They've made no secret that they want to add some high-end talent, so they have some space to do that. But at the same time, if you want to make it really tick, I think some people are going to have to go out, just from a straight-up salary cap standpoint. So we'll see where that goes, but. We're a little more optimistic, I think, right now than we were maybe 3 weeks ago, before the college guys came in. But Noah Cates, he could fight for a spot next year.
Oh yeah, I think he's on the team next year.
Yeah, and then Bobby Brink, Ronnie Attard, both of them could certainly benefit from some time in Lehigh Valley. But I think they've shown that they're perhaps closer than maybe the organization thought, when they were coming in. So I
think Adder might be not even a half a season guy at Lehigh.
Mm-hmm.
If he kind of shows, all the elements of his game. He almost got back to even scratch too, by the way.
Yeah. And if you can get those three by mid-season contributing meaningfully at the NHL level, that's huge because again, we're in a flat cap world, and all three of those guys are making less than $1 million a year.
Yeah.
So if you can get them contributing,
that's huge. Yeah, you're right.
And then you still have some other guys in Lehigh that are in the same situation, like Tyson Forrester. Wade Allison is another guy that we just hope he can stay healthy and really show what he's capable of.
Coots coming back from an injury too.
Yep. Healthy Couturier, healthy. Even though Kevin Hayes finished the season, we know what these core muscles can do to you. So a full off season of rehabbing that, and then not that he was gone for a huge amount of time here, but at the end, a healthy Cam Atkinson, a healthy Cam York, and
Rasmus,
Ristolainen. Yep, just getting this team back to something close to what it was supposed to be this year. But you're going to obviously have to change out a major piece there with the lack of Claude Giroux being here. That's assuming he does not come back. So, where they're going to go from here, I don't know. But again. I think we're feeling a little bit better about it than maybe we were a month ago. Yeah.
No, we got to see some fresh faces, some good play from a lot of the youngsters, and we'll kind of see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
Does Travis Sanheim get extended come the new league year because he'll be eligible to at that time because you can do it once you're in the final league year deal of your deal,
right?
You get extended. So there's a lot of questions. There'll be a lot of things to answer. Backup goaltender,
something Chuck did twice this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Did last year too with a guy like us or Scott Lawton.
Mm-hmm.
Extended him. So we'll see where it goes. But let's wrap it up because I know all the staff here at Wells Fargo Center have seen us enough. We got an extended thank you list here for tonight. So here we go. Because it's the end of the season. Our staff at WMR for our bump games, Program Director Bill Weston, Pancake, who cuts our highlights there, and Ryan Shuttleworth, who also is our board op on MMR games for the most part. At the Fanatic, Chuck D'Amico, program director, Coach Camille, Pat Egan, Tyler Zulli, Dylan McKinnon, Tom Alvord. There's probably some others that I'm not remembering. Matt Menarek as well.
Mike Vito's in there, I think.
Yes, Mike Vito.
All those guys that haven't worked here in 10 years that cut our highlights.
Yes, like Ryan Spillman and all those guys that Pat gives me in my ear every night. The Flyer staff, Chuck Fletcher, being very gracious and giving us his time and availability of different players and not agents, but the analytics department, and obviously Ian Anderson from analytics. And then, you look at scouts and those kind of players giving us access. Brent Flair, Danny Briere, Christine Mead in the program or marketing department, Brian Bourne, John Fair, Joe Seville, Zach Hill, the best in the business, head coach Mike Yo, who was great with us this year as well. Our on-site engineering crew, Betsy Deming, Rodney Bird, Marty Dickerson was doing some stuff for us as well, and that whole staff and all the promotions people. And, of course,
I got to stress that, what we've been doing up here tonight, this is a new thing this year, and it requires a lot more assistance, a lot more help than what we used to do, which was Jason and I would hide downstairs, and we would talk from a secret lair where you couldn't see us. And, we wanted to change it up a little bit. So, again, that required a lot more coordination and a lot more effort to get folks out here, and we certainly appreciate everything that went into making that happen this year.
Absolutely. So let's wrap it up one last time here. Flyers will be back in September for preseason of 22-23, and we'll bring you all the details at said time. For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Have a good offseason, everybody.
Thanks, Dad. Let's see.